Hello and welcome back to Meeting Point English, and in this video we are talking about used to, how to use used to, and also be used to and get used to. Now you have to remember that the first one is very different to the others. Even though they are often confused, they are not really connected. They are very different things. So let's begin with used to. This is to talk about past repeated activities and states, emphasizing a contrast with the present. So we are talking about things in the past which were different to today. So if we have a sentence like this, he used to have long hair. This means that in the past he had long hair, but now he does not. He has short hair. So we can say he used to have long hair. So there's used to and the infinitive form of the verb, used to have. There's another one. This building used to be a cinema. This building used to be a cinema. You hear the pronunciation, how we say used to be. This building used to be a cinema. So in the past, the building was a cinema, and now maybe it is a restaurant. I used to ride my bike everywhere. When I was a child, I had a bicycle, and I went everywhere on my bicycle. So I can say I used to ride my bike everywhere. People didn't used to use smartphones. Smartphones are a modern invention. So we can use this negative form. People didn't used to. You see how on used to, the D on used has disappeared because we have didn't indicating the past in the negative form. People didn't used to use smartphones. Women didn't used to wear trousers. 100 years ago, it was very unusual, and before that, you did not see women wearing trousers. So we can say women didn't used to wear trousers, but today they do. So that is used to, talking about the past and emphasizing that contrast between the way things were in the past and the differences today. Now let's look at be used to. You see, this one is very different from the previous. This means to be accustomed to a situation or activity so that it is not difficult for you. Maybe it's difficult for other people. Maybe it was more difficult in the past, but now it is not difficult for you, or it is not difficult for the person we are referring to. He is used to working on a ship. Some people might think it's very difficult to work on a ship, but for this man, it is not a problem. We can say he is used to working on a ship, or he is used to working long hours. He is used to working away from home for many days. So we can see here we have the verb to be, he is, then we have used to, and then we have working with ing. It's not used to work, it's used to working plus the verb to be. He is used to working on a ship. She is used to walking everywhere. She does not have a car, and she is accustomed to walking. Walking is not a problem for this woman. She was used to living alone. Okay, this one is referring to the past. This one, it's got was. Instead of she is, she was. So living alone was not a problem for this person. I'm not used to spicy food. Okay, the person speaking here would be someone who comes from a country where they do not normally use spice in their food. So this person might say, I am not used to spicy food. You see, in this example, we have a noun at the end. The previous ones have been the ing form of the verbs. Working, walking, living. But this one has a noun. So you can also do this structure with a noun. I am not used to spicy food. He isn't used to waking up early. This man here in the picture, it's 9:38 and he seems to think it's a problem. Other people wake up early every day, but this man doesn't. So for him, it's quite problematic. So we can say he isn't used to waking up early. Now let's look at get used to. This is very similar to be used to, but this is used to describe becoming accustomed to a situation, not to be accustomed, but to become accustomed to a situation. So we'll see how similar this is. He is getting used to waking up early. So in the previous one, we had someone who was not used to waking up early. But imagine you were unemployed, you had no job, and then you got a job which involved an early start, and you had to wake up early. To begin with, it would be a problem. Maybe the first week you might think that waking up early would be a big problem. But maybe the second week it would not be so bad, so you can say he is getting used to waking up early. And then when it is no longer a problem, we can say he is used to waking up early. This is the process of becoming accustomed. I got used to doing the housework after I bought my own flat. So imagine you lived at home and maybe you didn't do any housework. Your mother did all the housework. And then you buy your own flat. You have to learn some new skills. So you have to get used to doing the housework. She had to get used to public transport when she sold her car. So previously, she could go everywhere in her car. But then she sold her car and things changed. She had to go everywhere on public transport. So she had to get used to. She had to become accustomed to public transport. It took a long time to get used to the spicy food. Imagine you went to live in another country where all the food was very spicy. To begin with, it might be a problem, but maybe you could get used to the spicy food. She hasn't got used to living alone. She hasn't got used to living alone. Imagine a woman who is married with children, and then the children grow up and they leave home. So she lives with her husband, and then maybe her husband dies, and this poor woman has to live alone. And it would be a big problem. So she was used to having a lot of people around the house, and now she lives alone, and she hasn't got used to living alone. It is still a problem for her. Now let's look at some more examples of the three different structures to show the difference between them. Let's make a sentence with used to. If you went to live in Alaska, you could say, I used to live in a warmer country. So we've got used to with the infinitive form, used to live. to show the contrast between the past and the present. So, you used to live in a warmer country, now you live in a very cold place like Alaska, where it's very cold. So I used to live in a warmer country. Be used to is about being accustomed to something. So you might use sentences like, I am used to living in a warmer climate. You see the difference there between I used to live and I am used to living. The first one is showing the contrast between the past and the present. The second one is talking about being accustomed to something. I am used to living in a warmer climate. Or, I am not used to the long winter nights. Because the nights in the winter in Alaska, being very far north, the winter nights are very long. So you can say, I am not used to the long winter nights. And again, I am used to living, ing form of the verb. Or I am not used to, with a noun, the long winter nights. Now let's make some sentences with get used to. Later you might say, I got used to eating a lot more fish, meaning I became accustomed to eating a lot more fish. Or, I got used to the cold. Again, we've got the ing form of a verb, or we've got a noun, the cold. I got used to eating a lot more fish. I presume they eat a lot of fish in Alaska. And I got used to the cold. So that is used to, be used to, and get used to. I hope that was clear for you and useful. And don't forget to leave comments and share it with a friend. See you in the next video.